That was awesome. That felt like day one of the NCAA basketball tournament, where it was just baseball all day. It started at 3:08 Eastern, and it went through midnight. Happy baseballing. Happy postseason. This was amazing. Just baseball show, Jack Peter for Thursday, October 10th. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. We do have a ticket punch to the National League Championship Series. We'll do that off the top. We also have a boots on the ground report from Kauffman Stadium. Our guy, Kevin Henry, one of the phenomenal writers that we have at justbaseball.com, is a Baseball Writers Association of America member, and he is there as a credentialed reporter for Yankees Royals. So we checked in with him from Kauffman. But Peter, who we brought to you by?
BetMGM, the king of sports books. Remember, folks, download BetMGM, whether that be on iOS or Android, and use promo code JustBaseball. Why? First bet offer up to $1,500 back if you lose in bonus bets. But remember, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older. Terms and conditions apply. The Yankees won.
The Yankees won. Good for you. You're in a
Yes.
better mood. I don't know if I have more fun recording with a happy Peter or more fun recording with a sad Peter.
I can
I'm
tell you
watching.
this. I have a lot more fun recording when I'm like this. I can tell you
Okay,
that instead of just
whoop-de-doo, man.
listening to
So
the recaps. We won.
here's the thing. It's not about you. It's about me. And I'm thinking about what I enjoy more, and I'm not sure yet. Let's get through this 45 minutes or an hour, and I'll assess. So
You
we'll
like
see
the
what's going on.
shoulders? Look at the shoulders. Everybody
Yeah,
on
it's
YouTube,
all
look at the
right.
shoulders.
It's
I'm
all
getting the
right.
shoulders
Now,
going.
I'm just curious if the hips coincide on the dance floor, but I don't know because we're on Zoom and you can really only see the shoulders and that's it. Do you want to take us into Mets Phillies right now? Because the Mets are going to the NLCS.
The Mets are going to the NLCS. Let's talk about what happened. So, through 3 innings, the Mets had 4 hits and 3 walks against Ranger Suarez. They left 6 runners on base. What Ranger was really doing is what I think he was doing was preying on Mets hero ball. With nobody on base, the Mets were patient. They were putting up the same type of ABs that we're used to seeing from the Mets that got them here to this point. But once they got runners on base, everybody tried to be the hero. They got swing happy, and Ranger had 6 strikeouts through 3 innings, all on the curveball. The first scoring comes in the top of the fourth. Bryce Harper gets it going with a walk. Nick Castellanos smacks the ball to left field for a double. Alec Boehm hits a little dribbler to third, and Vientos kind of got caught in between and scored the first run of the game. At this point, Phillies are up 1-0. We go to the bottom of the fifth. Francisco Lindor, who else? Starts with a double down the line. Then Mark Vientos walk, strikes out Brandon Nimmo. Ranger Suarez exits after that. 4 1/3, 5 hit, 4 walks, 8 Ks. And you're thinking, all right, he's out of the game. Here come the Mets. Pete Alonso struck out. Jose Iglesias, weak grounder to the pitcher. And I'm thinking to myself, Phillies might have this one because the Mets, these ABs are just not what I'm used to.
Yeah.
We go to the top of the sixth. Bryce Harper doubles to right to start the inning. And then that's when Jose Quintana exited. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Just another phenomenal performance by a Mets starting pitcher in quote unquote one of the worst starting rotations in the playoffs. Not right now. They keep moving, right? Then Reed Garrett enters, strikes out Nick Castellanos. Alec Boehm walks. JT Realmuto strikes out. Then David Peterson enters the game, gets Bryson Stott to ground out. And the score is still 1-0. We go to the bottom of the sixth. JD Martinez starts it with a single to center. Starling Marte gets hit by a pitch. Tyrone Taylor walks. Bases loaded. Francisco Alvarez, weak ground out. And then Carlos Estevez comes in. And that bad man, that man, Francisco Lindor walks to the plate. See ya. A swing and a drive. Grand slam Lindor from Cespedes Family Barbecue. He joined Shane Victorino and Jim Tomei as the only hitters in Major League history with multiple postseason grand slams. And we go to the bottom of the ninth because it got a little worrisome there at the end. Edwin Diaz comes in, and Jack, you talked about it before. This guy has just been getting used and used and used. I mean, this is a bullpen masterclass from Edwin Diaz right now in terms of usage.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
Leadoff walk to Real Muto. And we're thinking, oh no. Even on the broadcast, they're talking about
Yeah.
against the Brewers.
I
How
loved
did they start the rally? It was a
so
walk.
yeah. Sorry to interject, but
No, go ahead.
I loved AJ's point there, where it's
Me
like
too.
he hits a homer, no problem, it's 4-2, but like how does this start every time?
Every
And he
time.
cited individual outcomes in which it has started with a leadoff walk.
I can't imagine being a Mets fan in that stadium at that time.
Oh,
Everything is going amazing. You're high off the Francisco Lindor. Nothing can stop you. A leadoff walk is almost worse than just a leadoff home run in that spot. I mean, a
I'm with
leadoff
you.
walk is a nightmare, an
Night.
absolute nightmare. And then another walk. Oh, oh, it feels like the game is about to melt.
Yeah.
Goosebumps ensue. One swing ties the game. But then Cody Clemens strikes out. We got one out. Brandon Marsh flies out. And Edwin Diaz nuts up, strikes out Kyle Schwarber, and the Mets are moving on. They win. Phillies. I mean, I have so many takeaways. Where do you want to go from here? We can go so many different directions.
So I know New York is having some mayoral issues. Could Lindor be the answer?
Yeah, Eric
Like,
Adams.
is he,
We're not going to get into politics right now.
yeah, but
That's a
like,
whole
is he
different
the
stuff.
right? Is Lindor the right guy for next mayor in New York?
I mean, Jose Iglesias could get another job.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
could.
pop singer, baseball player, mayor. I mean, that would make more sense. But I think Lindor should just run for the presidency.
I
Just screw
mean,
the mayor. Go for it
so
all.
they are America's team at this point,
Oh
right? Like
yeah.
I'm thinking about the level of enjoyment that the Tigers are giving people right now and the level of enjoyment that the Mets are giving people right now. And I may be pushing towards the major market bias where you have the Mets, but like the Tigers, they're doing this with like it feels like X's and O's. They're winning the game with their pitching chaos. And we're going to get to that series in a moment here, but I feel like the Mets are doing this with magic, and they're doing this with Francisco Lindor being the guy. Their $341 million man being the guy, and ripping these homers when they matter most, and the arc and the grimace costumes, and like everything leading up to this has just been like poetry.
Yeah.
Versus the Tigers, and it's like we're gritty. Yeah, that's the fun thing. I feel like the Mets are America's team right now, for being totally honest.
And I also think because what's woven in this is all the comebacks. I mean, they were down in this game. They were
Yeah.
down. The season almost ended against Milwaukee.
The
Like, I think
season almost ended against Atlanta, dude.
exactly. No, yeah, we could just keep going down the line, right? Their past three series,
It
it
was
could have
rock
ended.
bottom 2 weeks in.
Exactly. So that's why it feels like more of America's team just because of the comebacks. While the Tigers, it's been X's and O's, and you see some guy on the mound that you've maybe seen pitch 3 or 4 times. Some fans may never have heard of them, and they just keep mowing through, and they're not winning with like complete offensive showings. It's all pitching. So it's a little bit different. But the Tigers are objectively the grittiest team left, and the Mets have the most magic left. And they're both different, but they're both incredibly entertaining. And I'm
And
glad we have both. We need both.
yeah, and I do think Magic is sexier, and I think that's actually easier to sell because how invested are you going to be to Will Vest getting through a
But
clean
also,
like
I don't love this conversation because I don't think we should compare them. I think we should just celebrate both
that's
because they're
fine.
both awesome.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm totally in on that. And hey, credit to the Phillies for a hell of a season. But I also saw the note that our social team put out. Aside from Harper and Castellanos, the Phillies lineup, the other 7 spots in the lineup, were 13 for 100 this series. They hit 130 aside from Harper and Castellanos. Where was this offense? Bohm was terrible to end the regular season and in this DS. Trey Turner didn't exist.
Didn't do anything.
Like, dude, Stott had that one big knock. That's kind of it from literally everybody else. Schwarber had the homer right away. Like, that's kind of it, dude. Castellanos was the only guy that showed up in every game, I felt like. And he might have had an O for early that I'm forgetting.
Just to continue with that stat, like you said, 13 for 100, no doubles, 1 home run. They slugged 180 with a 430 OPS. But let's include them because the stats aren't that much better when you include Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos. That's how bad the Phillies were.
Fair. Yeah.
Phillies had a 186 batting average as a team in the National League Championship Series. They struck out 38 times in 4 games. The bullpen, 11.37 ERA.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a complete melt, right? And you know, it's not good to touch base with Phillies fans on Twitter right now. They're going so many different directions, right? They want massive changes. They want most of the players out. I understand. You just lost a tough series to a divisional opponent where your team did absolutely nothing. If I were you, I'd want to burn Citizens Bank Park to the ground at this point. I mean, I feel you. I'm an emotional fan too. And I somewhat see where they're coming from here. I mean, when I was on the show with Arm yesterday, I pronounced the Phillies dead. That's why we took the Mets. Like, it was a testament to the Mets and how well they were playing, but I couldn't believe how bad the Phillies were playing. I couldn't believe how bad the at-bats were. So swing happy and then complacent when you should be aggressive. They just could never form a good at-bat, right? Bryce Harper had a couple of nice hits, but outside of that, I mean, you got past the front four in the lineup and there was nothing. And then in the front four in the lineup, like Schwarber had his, leadoff home run once that he always ends up doing. But outside of that, Schwarber wasn't any good either, right? I don't want to put all the blame on Bohm, even though Bohm again was terrible. Like, they were all terrible, all of them. The only good parts about the Phillies in the series, I guess, was their starting rotation, right? Every starter kept them in the game. I
I
know
mean,
Ranger Suarez walked a
no,
tightrope the entire
Nola
time.
wasn't that good.
No, he wasn't that good, but he also didn't objectively lose them the game, right? You're the Philadelphia
Yeah.
Phillies. Your starter gives up 4. Is the game over? It shouldn't be. You're the Phillies, but it objectively
No, but you
was.
you pay Aaron Nola a lot of money to give up 4 runs in 5 innings at a postseason start.
No, I agree. I'm just not. The starting pitching is the least to blame in this series by far. But I agree. Nola didn't pitch well. But I want to further that point where if I told you, Jack, the Phillies going into this, knowing how good their offense was, if I told you Aaron Nola gave up 4 runs in game 3, are you saying that, oh, yeah, they definitely lost that game? Of course you aren't.
No, I'm saying it would have been tight.
Yeah.
But like the fact that Philly didn't win the Wheeler start, you're going to think about that game for 5 months,
Yeah. Big
maybe
off
longer.
season for Dave Dombrowski.
I think so.
This fan base will not accept the same team. With the continued lack of success in the postseason
Yeah, but
the
but
past
what?
few years.
So what changes? Because Strom was an all-star and
That's
Hoffman
something we
was an
can talk about.
all-star and
That's something we
Kirkring.
can kind of talk
Yeah,
about later on.
no, that's something that like I can pop the Apple Pencil out and
Yeah.
do the GM episode in the notepad. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But shifting back to the Mets, like my Tayabo thought on them. Again, I think they're America's team right now, but I'd be really scared of them, whoever
Oh
comes
yeah.
out of the West right now.
Oh
And
yeah.
and I know that we have treated this Dodgers Padres series like it is a World Series primer. Uh, my thought on that has shifted entirely. Where I know that all three of us, you, me, and Aram, were kind of dead set on whoever wins that Dodgers Padres series is going to the World Series, and they are the World Series favorite. I'll do like the Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. Like there's
Yep.
something about how ridiculously hot the New York Mets are right now.
100%. Like I have Padres futures 25-1 to win the National League pennant on BetMGM and 50-1 to win the World Series. If
Yeah.
the Padres are able to get past the Dodgers in game 5 and then they go to face the Mets, I ain't letting that shit ride. I'm hedging.
Yeah.
I am hedging. Now, I want profit on both sides, so it's not like I'm completely taking myself out of it and now fully
Right.
switching over to the Mets, but I will be hedging. I'm not letting that series ride. Like, they are too good. They deserve the hedge, at least.
I understand. Anything else on the Mets?
No, I mean, the thing is, like, we really applauded them after that game 3 win with Aram and I.
Yeah.
We broke down basically everything that has happened so far, and
That's
we're going to
I'm with
continue to
you.
talk about
I'm
them.
with you. That's when I felt like that series was won.
Me
You could
too.
call it lost by Philly. You could call it won by New York. However you want to slice it. I'm totally with you. Like I think that game 3 was the nail in the coffin.
I agree. I think they just took the wind out of the Phillies' sails completely. And there was no way the Phillies were winning in that stadium too. The fans were rocking. Rocking.
Yeah.
What a time. What a time to be a
So
Mets
good.
fan.
Speaking of rocking, let me tell you about the scenes at Comerica Park yesterday because
Mm,
that was amazing. First
yes, it
postseason game
was.
at Comerica in 10 years. It was again a 3-0 Tigers win. Chaos wins again. Kader Montero. I thought he was going to go for a little bit. 1, 2, 3 innings, 6 pitches, 5 for strikes.
See
The
ya.
same guy that threw a complete game shutout in 96 pitches less than a month ago. September 10th, literally a month ago today, threw a complete game shutout in 96 pitches. Goes 1, 2, 3 in the first, 6 pitches. And then Brant Herter came in.
I'm so wait, hold on, hold on. I'm so glad you brought that up because when you're doing the recap, like sometimes we can go over things because we're trying to
Right,
get everything done. Like I'm
right.
so glad you brought that up. I was shocked. I mean, he just got 6 pitches. He
It's like
was
where,
great,
and he
but
was like
that's
the other
chaos.
starter, dude.
Yeah,
It is
he was the
chaos, but
starter,
like it was Scooble and Kader Montero. That's what we were talking about. But
and then
you know, it was funny because during the wild card series and then during the beginning of the DS, everybody was saying, "Oh, it's Scooble then chaos." I was like, "Scooble Montero then chaos," because Montero was pretty good down the stretch. Like he was a legitimate starting
or
pitcher
even
for them.
Reese Olson, Jackson
Olsen,
Job.
yeah, he was
Like,
hurt. I mean, but Job was out of the pen the entire time. But I was
I
thinking
know
like Montero is actually throwing the first inning and is working five, and like again threw a Maddox less than a month ago.
too many
Um,
pitches. Got to
but
work on the pitch count.
yeah, I mean 6 pitches, 5 for strikes, and a 1, 2, 3 first. And then Brant Herter came in, and this guy is turning into a hell of a long man. 3 1/3 scoreless, then Bo Brisky 2 scoreless, then Sean Gunther, then Will Vest, then Tyler Holton. Pitching chaos just shut out the Cleveland Guardians in the first postseason game at Comerica in a decade. Guards stranded 8. They were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Scoring wise, Riley Green got it going against Alex Cobb with an RBI single in the bottom of the first, added another in the third on a sac fly from Matt Vierling, and then Spencer Torkelson ripped a much needed double down the
Mm.
left field line to plate Colt Keith in the bottom of the sixth. Torque in the postseason doesn't make it look much better. Now 1 for 15 with 9 Ks. Threat for the guards came in the seventh. 2 on, 2 gone. David Fry stung a liner that was ticketed for the left field line. Going to be a 2-run double. But Matt Vierling made a jumping grab at third to end the inning. I have some thoughts on this series, but I do want to read you what our again amazing social team put together about this chaos menu that was the Tiger pitching staff. Absolutely insane. As the page loads, it's just a rundown of like where you got all these guys. And Kader Montero worked to clean first. He was an IFA guy. Everybody else middle rounds. Do you have it up? Like for some reason, my Twitter is not compatible with my laptop right now.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't get
I
it.
can get it for you too. So Tigers pitchers today. Kader Montero started the game, obviously went 6 pitches. 2016 international free agent signing.
Yeah.
Brant Herter, 2021 seventh round pick. Bo Brisky, 2019 27th rounder. Sean Gunther, drafted by the Marlins in the 7th round back in 2017. Will Vest, a 12th rounder back in 2017. And then Tyler Holton closed it out, a D-backs 9th rounder from 2018.
I don't have much more to add.
Chaos.
Yeah. I
Chaos.
I don't have much more to add from that other than and here's your take of the night. I don't know if there's anyone left in the American League that can calm the chaos.
You think they roll? Is
I
that what
mean,
you're saying?
I don't know about roll, but like why can't chaos win a 7-game series against whoever comes from Kansas City and New York? And why can't they win one more
Yeah,
before the guards take two? Like,
I'm not gonna come in on the other side of that and be like, well, because of this. Because you know
yeah,
why I can't
because
do that,
Garrett
Jack?
Cole's on the other side. Yeah, it's like,
You know why I can't do that?
because
This is the
Judge is
tough.
judging.
No. The Yankees. Ju- we'll talk about them later.
Yeah.
This is the toughest team I've ever had to analyze since we started the podcast in the playoffs. I
Yeah.
don't know what to do with them. They're throwing out guys in the perfect spots. They get the big hit and they keep winning. Am I supposed to say, well, actually, like, I think that this reliever might be looking for some regression soon? Fuck that. Nobody knows anything about anything. We're just watching chaos. That's why I would love, well, this guy's been. I'm just watching and enjoying. That's all this is. And that's why it's such good baseball. I'm just watching and enjoying as a fan.
That's what I'm doing with the New York Mets right now. My last thing on the Mets, David Peterson did not enter a clean inning. Like, that's where we're at with the New York Mets. In what world was I going to tell you that on Wednesday, October 9th, David Peterson was going to come in mid-inning as a reliever?
That's why
No.
this sport is the best.
Kader Montero was going to work a 1-2-3 first and 6 pitches, and there would be a new arm out there in the second inning. Welcome to October. Like there's nothing here that we can say that is groundbreaking analysis. I cannot tell you why Kader Montero did not go out there for a second inning. But guess what? It fucking worked. And AJ Hinch is a mastermind. And you're right. I am deriving so much enjoyment from watching the Tigers right now because I don't understand it at all.
I don't understand it, but it's awesome. And I love watching things I don't understand because
I was listening to the end of the game on Guardians radio, and Tom Hamilton mentioned franchise record. I don't know if it's overall or postseason. The Guardians have not scored in 20 innings.
Yeah.
They've scored 2 runs in their last 26 innings. We can get to the whole Guardian indictment in a moment, but like speaking to the enjoyment of watching the Tigers, the Guardians are not the 2022 Cleveland Guardians. Like they have a better lineup than they had in 2022. And chaos has shut them down. Scooble for what, 6 or 7? But Scooble and chaos has shut them out for a franchise record 20 consecutive innings.
yeah. And you know who I'm looking at? Jose Ramirez. It sucks because we love Jose Ramirez. There's he would have to go 0 for 100 for us to really tear him down. But the thing is, you can't win. You will not win this series with Jose Ramirez hitting 111 with a 495 OPS.
Fair.
And now that's a testament to the Tigers, the way that they've been pitching him, right? They obviously have a plan, and it changes all the time, and they give him a new arm all the time, and they're not really pitching to him, right? They're giving him really nothing to hit, and he's kind of getting himself out now. Looks like he's being a little over aggressive, which is weird because you never really see Jose Ramirez come out of his approach, but that's what it looks like to me, is that he's trying to do too much. So this game 4, which we're going to preview at the end, right? We can move on to the next series because I really want to talk through that.
Fair.
He's going to have to show up if this team has any chance because Stephen Kwan is hitting 455 in the series right now, right? Even Josh Naylor's hitting 273. Now, I know the rest of the lineup has been terrible, but at least you expected Kwan, Naylor, and Jose Ramirez to hit.
Yeah.
Kwan's been great. Naylor has been fine. Jose Ramirez has been terrible. That cannot happen for the Guardians to move on.
Yeah. I hear you on that front. Do we want to preview game 4 coming up right now?
No, let's do both game 4s at the end.
At the end? Okay.
Yes.
So we will move to KC and Detroit now then. And Peter, give us the 4-1-1 on the game, and then you're going to hear from Kevin Henry.
Yep. So Yankees Royals. This was awesome. So Jazz comes up in the second inning, and he was met with tons of boos. He said after the Royals won 4-2 a couple of games ago, it still feels the same, and I quote, "It still feels the same that we're going to win it," Chisholm said. "I don't feel like anybody feels any different. We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. Like you said, we had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky." And Royals fans did not like that and let him know. But we go to the top of the third, and it's more of a question because no runs were scored until the top of the fourth. Gleyber Torres pops one up to short right field. It was called foul on the field, went to replay. My question to you was it foul?
No, that was a fair ball. It got chalk. Very clearly got chalk.
So why the fuck do we have a replay center?
I don't know.
What are we doing? And Royals fans are in my comments, well, it's payback for Jazz. Okay.
Payback for Jazz. Let's make the right call.
Exactly. Like, we're not, you're getting into your fandom a little bit too much. Like, we agree. That play, it could have been changed, gone to replay. Like, we're able to see. We saw that it landed on chalk. Why even have a replay room?
Yeah.
That's my main takeaway. Why? And the TBS broadcast, I mean, the camera angles, it was all a disaster. But
Here's some solace real quick. The announcing pairing for the ALCS is going to be Brian Anderson as the play-by-play guy, and then I think Francoeur and Darling as the analysts. But Brian Anderson will be calling the ALCS.
all right, that's
Leave it at that. Keep going.
top four. Giancarlo Stanton starts the scoring off with a rocket for a double. 114 eggs of velo, scoring Juan Soto after he walked to start off the inning. We go to the top of the fifth inning. Volpe starts with a single. Oswaldo Cabrera walks. Verdugo bunts to move them over. Glaber walks. Soto sac fly makes the score 2-0. Another hard hit ball for him today. Judge flies out. And then Seth Lugo was done after 5 innings. He pitched okay. A lot of hard contact in this game. But overall, the stat line was good. 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. Again, some hard hit balls, but otherwise definitely gave his chance a team to win. Go to the bottom of the 5th inning where Royals tie it up with 2 outs. Adam Frazier starts with a single. Kyle Isbell doubles off the left field wall to score a run. Michael Massey then triples on a ball that just sneaked by a diving Juan Soto for the second run. And now it's a tie game 2-2. Clark Schmidt then exited with 2 outs in the 5th. 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 4 Ks. That stat line doesn't do him a lot of justice. He was carving before that inning, got a little bit away from filling the strike zone, and it was his first real postseason start, right? He's had 2 appearances in the playoffs coming out of the bullpen, and they didn't go well. 2 innings, 3 runs. What were we going to get from Clark Schmidt? Showed up when the Yankees needed him, kept the Yankees in the game. Top of the 6th. Giancarlo Stanton stole a base. His first stolen base in 4 years. We're going to talk more about that with Kevin Henry, so you'll hear that in a second. But that was almost more shocking than the Francisco Lindor grand slam. And Mets fans, don't come after me. Like, Lindor's hit a grand slam much more recently than 4 years ago. That's the last time Giancarlo Stanton stole a base. Now, top 7, another question for you. Judge got called on a very borderline strike 3 call. Strike or no strike?
I don't remember it off the dome. Let me pull it up. Let me look at the zone. What say you?
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't really care either, but top 7, you said?
Yeah. And the reason I say I don't care is that Aaron Judge should not be in that situation anyway, looking for the umpire to make the right call for him to get on base.
Judge struck out swinging in the 7th.
Yeah, it was check swing.
Oh, hold on. Let me watch this video. I was tuned into Dodgers Padres by that point.
What are you talking about? The Yankees
What
are
do
the
you mean?
greatest team of all time. Did you miss it?
What do you mean? Of course I missed it. I was watching the other one. Let's see. Uh no, he held, but like be better.
Be better. Exactly. That's kind of what I wanted to bring up. I wish you saw because you were like, oh, yeah, no, it was a strike. I'd be like, I don't care anyway. Right. So
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up. But then we get to the top of the 8th. Giancarlo Stanton, playoff Stanton, hits a rocket home run to take a 3-2 lead. And that was it. Yankees win 3-2. Great game from Stanton, 3 for 5 with a friggin' stolen base. Double, home run, 2 RBIs, and a run. Anthony Volpe, I thought, had a really good day at the plate. 1 for 2 with 2 walks, and he also had a really clutch diving catch that Bob Costas said was a base hit, but then Volpe caught it. And I love how he said, I did think it was funny. He caught his mistake, and people were getting on him for the mistake. And it's like, it's just a little one. It's not that big of a deal. But also,
There were other
when he
things
said,
to
"I'm
jump
glad
on.
Bobby Wood Jr. recognized it before I did," I thought that was funny. I thought that was a good way to catch
That is
the
good.
fall a little bit.
Yeah.
And Bobby Wood Jr. got his first hit of the series. Right? You know, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm crushing Judge. Bobby Wood Jr. has 1 hit this series.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I was thinking? If you're the Royals, do you trade him to the Yankees potentially?
Yeah, you should trade him to the Yankees. Volpe, Brock Selvage,
I'm just
and
saying. I
Carlos LaGrange. That
just
should get it done.
hear me out, Royals fans. How can he be your superstar with this performance so far? Might as well trade
How
him.
about
Who needs?
how
Who
about
could potentially have a shortstop? The Yankees. I'm just saying it matches up well.
how about this guy, this outfield prospect Frazier? And Duhar is playing some third, and then throw in Estevan Florial as well. Does that work?
Is Florial still with the Guardians?
Yeah, he was a Columbus Clipper at the end of the year.
Interesting. You want to talk to Kevin now?
Yeah, let's talk to Kevin. We will opine after you hear from Kevin Henry, which will happen right now. The old boots on the ground. Kevin Henry does a phenomenal job editorially at justbaseball.com, and this is good. We've got a credentialed reporter at a postseason game. We might as well talk to him after he gets out of the Yankee clubhouse after the Yankee win over Kansas City. Before we get into anything about Giancarlo Stanton and the homer, were you there for the Jazz thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Jazz with the crying emoji with the fans and everything. He was having a good time tonight. He admitted after the game he was soaking it up. I think he's really embraced his villain arc right now. It's fantastic.
So what did he say? They don't boo nobodies.
Yeah.
That only fuels the fire. Did he have like a big smile on his face when he was
Oh
doing?
yeah. Yeah. And the very last thing he said was one of the people asked him, what was the worst thing you heard tonight? And he said it wasn't the worst, but it made me laugh the most that there was this big guy that was yelling at me, but he sounded like a little 10-year-old girl. So, he's just giving it right back to the fans for sure, which is fantastic.
I guess my only thing with the situation, because I'll say it to you, Kevin, too. Like, I wasn't a big fan of this whole thing. I'm not a
Yeah.
big fan of a player in a big time playoff series giving them any bulletin board material.
Agreed.
Especially that in the game, quite honestly, he didn't back it up with his play. So it is good to see that he is at least keeping good spirits and it didn't end up affecting the game. But were there any questions down there when people were talking to Jazz, like questioning why he even started talking about this kind of the Royals being lucky in the first place?
No, to be honest, they really feel like that got buried. They feel like the Jazz said it. Aaron Boone kind of came out and tried to push it under the rug, but they felt like it was a brand new day. And the only thing that they said was they knew the Royals fans were going to be fired up about that tonight. And obviously, from pregame introductions on, every time the Jazz touched the ball or got up to the plate, you definitely heard about it for sure.
So much of the highlight during the day was the environment at Comerica, and it was first postseason game there in a decade. KC, I mean, it's been a minute since Kansas City had hosted a postseason game as well. What was that environment like before we get back to the Yankee reaction?
It was fantastic, honestly. They played it since the 2015 World Series Game 2 to be back here. And you could tell the Royals fans were really embracing it. And during the pregame press conference, one of the big questions that getting asked of all the Kansas City players were, are you hoping to suck some of that Royals or Chiefs excitement over from Arrowhead over to here? They share the parking lot and everything. And they were all just like, we expected here. It's a postseason game. So Chiefs or not, we expect the fans to be loud, and they came through tonight.
So I want to talk about Stanton, and I want to talk about the home runs.
Yep.
But the biggest shock of the night, maybe the biggest shock of the postseason, even though this postseason has had multiple game-winning home runs, we just saw Francisco Lindor hit the grand slam to take the Mets to the National League Championship Series, and I'm over here. The biggest shocker is Giancarlo Stanton freaking stealing a base. That man hasn't stolen a base since 2020. What was the hubbub at the clubhouse after he did that?
It was funny. It was a real big split because everybody's talking about, well, that's what we expect from Giancarlo when it comes to the home run. And, we know they've got it in that bat. But the minute you mentioned the stolen base, the smiles got on the faces, because those guys, you could tell they were giving him some crud about that after finally doing it. But they also said that was a really big moment in the game. I mean, it really was. All of a sudden, he got himself in scoring position, and just that little threat that he showed he could do it, and then he follows it up with the big home run. Yeah, he was the talk of the clubhouse tonight, no doubt about it.
It's also totally a grass is always greener thing too, because you have everybody, like Luis Suarez wants to hit homers so bad, and like Giancarlo Stanton wants to swipe bags so bad. All these guys want to do the other thing that they don't do well. So that had to be I that was kind of a perfect storm too. And I heard him mention to John Morosi when they were doing the post game thing on field that he saw a guy that was pretty slow to the plate and said, might as well do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that as well. So it's, catcher pop time, obviously, but he really had to take that on the pitcher. But overall, Stanton's vibe, that's a guy that's always performed in the postseason. New York, there's a mixed bag with Giancarlo Stanton in New York there. And I know Peter can speak to that too. But what's his vibe been like?
His vibe has been, you know what? This is what I do. I'm here. It doesn't feel like he's shaken in any way, shape, or form. He always feels like that he's got a home run in the next swing. And, Juan Soto said after the game in the clubhouse, one of the things that he said is, we expect this from him every time he steps up to the plate. So, absolutely, we know what Stanton's views are by a lot of the fans and by a lot of the media, too, as well. But I will tell you, inside that clubhouse, there's no doubt that they've all got his back, and they all think he is absolutely a big part of what they're going to do moving forward.
What's the energy like with Judge right now? Because it's obviously, you're coming off another historic MVP level season. And then you go into the playoffs and it's continued the other lack of success. I don't know the words. It's late at night. He's not doing well. I'm still pissed. I know we got the win, but how is the energy back there with Judge right now?
The energy is very even keeled, to be honest with you. There's no panic. There's no worry. There's nothing else. Soto was asked about that earlier today. Aaron Boone was asked about that earlier today. And everybody's got the same response. We know who he is. And everybody goes through these slumps. You can put through all the postseasons, whatever. But they are absolutely convinced that this is just one of those things that he's going to have a breakout game real soon. And, I heard Gsme say, I think it was Gsme in the postgame. He said, hey, Stanton got the home run tonight. Maybe it's Judge tomorrow night. And so I think that's what they're rolling with, is that, it's one of those contagious things. So it could well happen.
So I'm curious about Boone's availability as well, because this guy has to be elated in what Luke Weaver has given them.
Yeah.
And I know that going into the postseason, Peter was saying he was terrified of the ninth inning, and I didn't blame him. Is it going to be Canely? Is it going to be they're going to try the Holmes thing again? Weaver was a fastball machine today. It was nothing but, and it was 5 outs, all with heaters, essentially.
Yeah.
Did Boone have anything in terms of things that you took away in regards to Luke Weaver and the rest of that bullpen usage?
No, the biggest thing that I took away is that there's a growing confidence in there. I think we all had that kind of wondering about how the Yankees were going to handle late innings. But I think all of a sudden they found something that clicks. And I think Clay Holmes is okay with it. That was one thing that he was talking about in the post-game locker room, was that, this bullpen has really gelled in their roles and come together. And if Clay Holmes backs out so Weaver can step in, it's working right now. So I think that you could see that they really feel like they found something here and answered a big question mark they had.
Do you have an incredible background right now? You're obviously at Kauffman Stadium. I'm curious how Royals fans are doing, because I know me. I know I'm an emotional mess. After a loss, I think the season is over. After a win, I think there's a good chance that we're going to win the World Series. But not everybody is emotional like me. Is the vibe in Kauffman right now, we still think that we're going to win tomorrow and end up winning the series, or does it feel deflated?
No, it doesn't feel deflated at all. They feel like one swing made the difference tonight. They feel like that they were right there. And that's the same thing I got in the Royals clubhouse as well, to be honest with you, is that they all feel like, one swing changed the game. Tomorrow night, we could have that one swing. A buddy of mine here is a season ticket holder here, and I texted him after the game, and he was like, hey, we're coming back tomorrow night and send it to the Bronx. I mean, there's a lot of confidence, you can tell.
It's a tall task. Kevin, before we let you go, obviously Cole goes today for New York, and that's a pretty clear-cut thing. It's like Cole's going to go, and then we're going to run out our 8-team bullpen. It's Waka today for Kansas City. Where I know you were there for Matt Quachero's postgame. Did he key into anything in terms of strategy leading into today, or not yet? It's Waka, and then we go.
No, it was Waka, and let's see what happens. He did say it was pretty much, everybody who threw in the bullpen tonight went very short. So everybody's available again tomorrow night. And I think that was part of the strategy of what he did tonight, was to make sure everybody be ready for game 4 as well. There weren't any hints about the New York side of things, who might be available, who not. But I have a feeling if there's a way that they can clinch it tomorrow night here, they're absolutely going to throw every arm they can.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't use Urseg. Sorry, Peter, but they didn't use Urseg. The only guy that I think would be down is Bubic, who threw 26 pitches. But even a guy like Singer just threw 3 pitches. I don't know if they would want to make Singer go back to back, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, but I think that they very much will do whatever they can to stay alive tomorrow night. So what we saw tonight with that weird bullpen usage and a lot of it, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again tomorrow night as well.
Fair. My last question for you, Kevin. Did you get a sense of what the leash is going to look like for Luis Gil? Right, a guy who his command can get away from him, but if he's on, he can dice through a lineup and easily go 6. Is it they're going to give him a little bit of leeway here, Or do you think at the first sign they're getting out of there?
I think they'll give him leeway because I think they're also thinking long term as well. And I think that they're hoping to get a little bit of that confidence in there. So I absolutely wouldn't be surprised if he goes a little bit longer than Yankees fans may want him to or feel comfortable with. But I absolutely think the leash will be a little longer than maybe we expect.
No, Jack, I feel confident. I think Luis Hill's going to shove. I feel good.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not one of those.
We'll see. I like it.
We'll see what role that is. But yeah, Kevin Henry, really appreciate you checking in. And again, read everything he's putting out on justbaseball.com. It is phenomenal stuff. Follow him on Twitter as well. That's linked in the episode description. Kevin, you're awesome. Enjoy your night in Kansas City. Arthur Bryant's Barbecue, is that it?
I was going to say I'm a Gates guy, so I'm heading over to Gates BBQ after this. How about that?
Okay, nice. Yeah, go get it.
Thanks, guys.
Excellent chatting with Kevin again. All of his written work available at justbaseball.com. This guy is phenomenal and weird that I had never heard of what was it, Gates Barbecue that he mentioned, but Arthur Bryant's is the famous one. That's the one that everybody goes to. That's like quintessential Kansas City barbecue.
Yeah, I went to Kansas City when I was young with my family because we have family there. I went to a Royals game. We had barbecue and went to the Negro League Hall of Fame, and that entire experience was phenomenal. Like, Kauffman is one of my favorite stadiums. The barbecue there is to die for. Negro League Hall of Fame was awesome. The people there are great. I will always have so much love for Kansas City, except when my Yankees roll through.
Totally fair. I'm going to Austin, Texas next weekend. So please tell me in the YouTube comments, Franklin's or Terry Black's? Where am I going? Terry Black's?
I mean, both are really, really good.
You've been to Franklin?
I didn't.
In Austin?
I must have not.
I don't know. Franklin, I really want to try Franklin, but apparently you got to get in line at like 9 a.m. It's just brutal. But aside the fact.
Can we talk about Jazz for a second?
Yeah, we can. Where do you stand? Because I think we might differ a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to agree with me. I'm like the only one upset about it. I hate this from Jazz. Why are you giving them any bulletin board material? I don't care if it materializes into nothing. What's the point? There is no point in saying any of these things. None. What does it do? What is the positive? Because then, okay, if you say that, all right, whatever. You got to perform. He hasn't done anything. That cannot happen. You cannot give another team bulletin board material. That felt to me like they were underrating the Royals completely. When the Royals are still a good playoff team, they deserve to be there. They've already beaten you once. They hit Garrett Cole, and you're saying that shit? We cannot have that. And then Jeff Passan tweets out that afterwards, well, I've never heard them boo a bum. And then the entire internet is like, Jazz is so awesome. Fuck all that. No. I hated it. I don't want any of it.
It's
none.
So, yeah. All right. Counterpoints from me. Welcome to the Jazz experience. This has been a thing. But, like, this is who Jazz is, man. Like, Jazz likes embracing that villain role. He likes being...
Okay, you can embrace the villain role without giving them bulletin board material.
My thing is, like, I don't think bulletin board material exists when you're in the postseason and you're playing the New York Yankees. Like, I don't think that anything that the Yankees said... Like, Jazz could have gone after, like, players' parents, and I don't think that's adding more fuel to the fire
I don't think that's
than what
fair,
Kansas
though.
City had.
I don't think that's fair.
Why don't you think that's fair? Like,
because he can say anything then. Like, it literally doesn't matter what the Yankees say. They can talk shit. They can do whatever. I'm not buying that.
I believe that it doesn't really matter what the Yankees say because at the end of the day, you are in the postseason gunning for a berth in the ALCS and you're playing the New York Yankees who are looking for number 28. Like, that's enough. These guys, like, I don't think Bobby Witt, he didn't show up with more of a can-do attitude because Jazz Chisholm said that his team got lucky. I think it's fun, like it's funny, and I think Jazz is having a lot of fun with it. He's made that very clear that he's having a lot of fun with it, and you just heard that from Kevin too. Like, he's embracing this. Do I think it's good for the Yankees? No, I don't think it's good for the Yankees at all. I think it's Jazz doing this thing.
There's
where
no positive to it.
He likes the showmanship. There's no positive, but I don't think that there's this negative coming from the Kansas City Royals side. Again, you're playing the New York Yankees in the American League Division Series. There is no such thing as additional ammo that you need.
Okay, but we're saying it like it's a fact. It's not. It's
No,
not a fact.
yeah,
Like,
that's just where I stand.
I understand, but if it gives them an ounce, if it gives them an inch, this is a game of inches. Every single at bat matters. We won the game by one run.
Yeah,
And it was on one swing of the bat. Kevin even talked about it. Royals feel totally fine. The Yankees got the big swing that
they
day.
should feel totally fine.
Exactly. But like, I don't want to give another team any ammunition. That's it. Right? You could still have a ton of fun. And then what also irked me about it is that then he went over and he hasn't had a good series so far. And now it's very, very early. But if you're going to say that, I want some fire out of you, I want a couple of base hits, I want something, but then he didn't show up and he's laughing about the booze. I get it. He's enjoying himself. I don't want to give the Royals any ammunition. They're a great team. And who knows? Maybe it could come bite him in the ass. I don't know. Maybe it won't, but I don't want to take that chance. I don't even want 1%.
Yeah. And now my final counter and the thing that I'm going to keep coming back to, like, they already had a full clip. More ammo isn't going to do anything. They already had enough.
I don't know if we'll see. We'll see.
Like, I just don't think that any team like the Kansas City Royals is going into a postseason series against the New York Yankees lacking give a shit, like lacking drive
but you can kind of say that then about, like, is bulletin board material ever real ever in the playoffs with any team? Like, I don't think it's just because
I
think
Yankees. It is. I think it is when you're on a similar playing field. But like, hey, credit to the New York Yankees and credit to their team history.
They're totally on a similar playing field right now.
Let me credit the Yankees team history. They are the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees are different than 29 other franchises in Major League Baseball. And I know that you've been a fan since you were a little baby. So, like, it's hard for you to kind of come from the inside and be outside looking in at this. The New York Yankees are different than every other organization in Major League Baseball. They are the ones that had Babe Ruth. They are the ones that had Lou Gehrig. They are the ones that had Mickey Mantle. They are the ones that had Joe DiMaggio. They were the ones that had Roger Maris hit 61 and Mantle probably have a better year than him in 1961. They sent Mariano Rivera to the mound in the ninth inning for 20 years. The New York Yankees are different than every other organization. If the Royals were playing the Dodgers in the World Series, I think bulletin board material exists. If the Royals were playing the Red Sox in the ALDS, bulletin board material exists. This is a different beast. They've won 27 times. They have a park for monuments for all the players. They were literally known as the Evil Empire. And I'm probably firing you up right now. But, like, it's different, man. The Yankees are different. And I don't think there is such thing as additional ammunition needed against the New York Yankees in a postseason series.
All right, fine, you're right. The Yankees are the greatest franchise in sports history.
They are. Like, they are, man.
But my real answer is I don't accept your answer. I don't.
Okay.
And it's not that you're wrong. I mean, I do think I think that everyone in the YouTube comments,
I can't wait for people to chip in.
All of them are going to agree with you. I know that. I don't care. I don't want it. I don't think it's fun. I want to win and I want to move on. And I want to see everyone in the lineup hit. And they have not. They've won by inches. They've won both games by one run. And to give them anything is not worth it because there is no positive on the side of Jazz. And if there is a positive, maybe it fires him up. It didn't. He hasn't done anything. That's all I have to say on the matter. But you're right. The Yankees are the greatest franchise ever.
You got anything else on this game before we move on to the next one? I feel like we covered a lot with Kevin.
We did. And I just really impressed with Clark Schmidt. Really, I thought he was great. I was so proud of him. I was so proud of him. I loved him.
So to tie a bow on the Yankee point as well.
Luke Weaver is a weapon.
So that's what I was going to say. To add to what we talked about with Kevin, Luke Weaver had as impressive an outing as maybe I've seen out of the bullpen this postseason.
I ain't worried about the ninth no more. He has been. I mean, he is a weapon. He is a weapon because he's going 5 outs. No problem. None. strikes, 97. Holds runners on too. Bobby Witt Jr., right? Had to hold him. You don't want him stealing a bag. Held him, right? So, of course, Salvi got that base hit, but, maybe if he allows him to steal, there's a tie game there. So I just thought that Luke Weaver was so good. Tommy Kahnle was so good. Clay Holmes in this new role. I mean, he hasn't a lot of postseason run in his career. And these are the spots, like this 7th inning when he comes in. I love the way the Yankees have operated the bullpen in the playoffs right now. This has been great. The pitching has been great. It's just the hitting I'm still annoyed with. And I was annoyed with Jazz. I still am. Like, I don't like this at all. Hopefully it doesn't bite them. Yankees win game 4 and we're all good and it's not a big deal, but I still really, really did not like it at all.
Understood. I get it. Okay, let's go to Padres and Dodgers. And this one was an 8-0 Dodger win. Scoring open to the first on a Mookie Betts home run. That's second game in a row that he's went yard in or gone yard in San Diego.
Mookie Betts, postseason performer?
Yeah. Oh, what a flip of the script. In the second, lineup turned over. Shohei Ohtani bounced an RBI single to right before Mookie drove in another with a single to right. The Ohtani single knocked Dylan Cease out of the game, line on him. Inning and 2/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. So let's do this. 2 starts for Dylan Cease in the postseason. 5 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned runs.
Not fair. It's against the Dodgers who own him. They've owned him. They owned him in the regular season. They just see him really, really well. I'm not going to say, oh, Dylan Cease can't pitch in the postseason anymore.
He's had a bad series. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's more than fair against a team that sees him really well.
Yeah, he has had 2 bad starts. It's been tough. So that is the line on Cease in 2 starts against the Dodgers. Then in the third, Will Smith smashed a 2-run homer at 109 off the bat and 432 off the batter's eye in the third inning. Dodgers had a threat for more in the fourth when Teoscar Hernandez snuck a ball down the third base line past Manny Machado. Problem is, this was fun. It deflected off third base umpire Mark Rippiger. Manny was heads up as hell and got Shohei Ohtani at the plate to end the inning trying to score from second. That was a heck of a play for Manny Machado.
That was the luckiest thing I've ever seen. I
mean, it was crazy.
Like the Dodgers, I almost thought if that play happens and the Padres were able to come back, that clip would be played for the rest of
no doubt
our time on Earth.
No doubt.
And luckily it ended up being nothing, but I was like, and do you see Shohei yelling from the dugout too? I have a group chat full of my Dodger friends and they're all freaking out about it. I'm like, you're right. That was the unluckiest thing I've ever seen.
It's like you're up 5-0 in the fourth. Calm down.
No, but still, I mean,
I get it.
5-run lead ain't nothing in the playoffs. In that series, these 2 teams can hit so well. So they needed every run they could get, and that felt scary, but it ended up not mattering at all.
Yeah, totally understand. Dodgers added some more. Tommy Edman had a sac bunt that plated a run. Then in the 7th, Gavin Lux had a 2-run homer to plate Will Smith. All in all, Dodger bullpen was awesome. Bullpen game, they rip a shutout. Bullpen game in an elimination day. Brazier went 4 up and 4 down. Anthony Banda, 2/3 scoreless. Michael Kopech, a scoreless inning. Alex Vesia, inning and 2/3 scoreless. Evan Phillips got 4 outs. Daniel Hudson got 3 outs. Blake Trinan got 3 outs. And your guy that I thought was going to start game 4, Landon Knack, got 3 outs with an 8-run advantage. So credit to the Dodger staff. Now, they were working in lower leverage for the back half of the game, but in terms of a tone setter, Brazier did as good of a job as you could have asked for.
Absolutely. I mean, this Dodgers bullpen has been great all year, and they all stepped in, right? The problem with the bullpen game is it only takes one guy to have something unravel, and then the game is different.
Yep.
They were all nails, all of them. Against a really good lineup in Petco. Shout out the Dodgers bullpen. I think it was the best performance of the day. Now, you could say, well, Lindor hit the grand slam and, the Tigers bullpen also shut out the Guardians. But I think in that spot on the road in San Diego against that offense, I think it was the best performance of the day.
Interesting. I like that take, I think. Lindor had the clutch factor, but in terms of steady performance through the 9th, I mean, dude, like, the Tigers, it's hard to argue with the Tigers thing too.
I agree, but again,
Different beast. Yeah,
both
Guardians and
teams
Padres,
threw a
different beast.
shutout, and the Guardians haven't been hitting, and the Tigers were at home. The Dodgers were on the brink of elimination in
Yeah.
Petco against arguably the best offense left, and they threw the shutout. Right? How many hits did they even allow? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits. That's it. I mean, what a performance. I mean, if they win game 5, that is the performance I think they look back on and say that just catapulted us, because I mean, it's just so hard to do that in that spot. I couldn't believe how good they were.
Did you have anything on like the Dodger offense or the Padre offense? Like I really didn't. I kind of ran out of takes for the day.
Weirdly forgettable game. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of. The Dodgers
Yeah.
just jumped on him. Like, shout out Mookie Betts. Looks way better. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Shout
Freddie
out Will
Freeman.
Smith for getting right.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
big. I mean, Teoscar just rakes. I mean, this guy is a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
He's just a phenomenal player. Yeah, it's good to see Will Smith get going again. Freddie Freeman obviously getting scratched.
Freddie
That's
out.
not a good thing. So that'll be something to watch. But yeah, right now it's kind of just, let's just get to game 5 and watch the fireworks, because I mean, this is box office. This is what we wanted. Game 5. This is perfection. And we're going to see these two teams go at it. I know the Padres definitely don't want to go back to LA, but they're probably going to face Yamamoto, who they continue to hit every single time, and might be somebody else. I don't know. I don't know how both teams are going to react, but it's going to be pure theater.
I think it's Yamamoto Darvish, and that is going to set ratings records.
Oh, yeah.
Overseas.
Yes, it will.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Yamamoto Darvish with Ohtani playing.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the most watched game even going up to the World Series.
Dude, like, I'm glued to every pitch.
Every pitch.
Damn, that's going to be awesome. I'm very, very fired up for this.
Let's preview next 2 games. We got Guardians Tigers and we got Yankees Royals.
Let's do it. So let's start with Yankees Royals. That one is clear cut Cole and Waka. Yankees can put it away in KC. This is a rematch of game 1. Is that right?
Yep.
I think I like Cole in a bounce back.
Yeah. So I'm not going to let the Jazz thing hang with me any longer, because I had a gut feeling that the Yankees were going to lose this game because of Jazz, like game 4, because of the comments. And I'm overreacting. What I actually think is going to happen is Garrett Cole has like one of those 7-inning, 12K, just pure domination, because the Royals bats look bad, objectively.
They do.
Right? You get some big hits occasionally. If Bobby Witt Jr. isn't performing, like, this offense is just not going to go. Right. And now you give Garrett Cole another chance to do something major to get his team to the next round, because you don't want to go back to New York. Like, you want to wrap it up. Giancarlo Stanton even said it himself. We need to wrap this up tomorrow. I think Garrett Cole gives a vintage performance. And I think the Yankees bats finally, like, I think this is, no, Judge is not going to do anything. He's never hit Waka. It's going to be another bad game for him. I think it's going to be another Soto game. Yeah, I think Yankees kind of boat race them. I'm going to go 5-2 Yanks.
Okay.
That's not a boat race. That's a win by 3 runs. But you know what I mean.
That is a win by 3 runs. 2. 2's kind of where I get hung up, to be honest.
What do you mean?
I think Waka throws well, but I think 3-1. Like, I think 2 might be a lot for Kansas City, to be honest with you. Like, I'm with you. This offense is objectively not that good. I go 3-1 New York. I think Cole turns in that gem that you're talking about, vintage.
10-1 Yankees.
10, yeah. Nice. 9-2 Royals. We go back for game 5.
I don't think I can handle game 5.
I don't think you could either. You know what you have to do if that's the case, though? You got to sit in front of a big TV and just go live and just scream with every pitch. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
I have a really tough time doing like if we did streams for the Yankee game.
No,
like, you don't want to watch me watch the Yankees when I'm in my emotional distress. Actually, maybe people do. Right? The internet's a weird place. Probably do. Probably people loved watching they probably loved the video or the episode where the Yankees lost and I was an emotional little bitch versus me being really happy, because that's how the internet works.
Yeah, you know what? I think I prefer this, Peter. just like getting
Yeah.
through the episode now. I'm just like, you know what? I think this is good. I'd prefer this every day, but it is kind of fun to mix in just a pissed Peter every now and again.
Guardians Tigers. I think the Guardians win.
Uh, it's Bybee against more chaos.
I think Bybee's going to shove.
Yeah, and
I
it's
think-
back-to-back days of chaos.
And Vest went, Brisky went. Like they went their full bullpen again, and now you got to go back-to-back days. Well, the Guardians, they saved a lot of their guys, right? Clase didn't pitch, Gaddis didn't pitch, Cade Smith barely threw, Tim Herron's going to be fine, and then you got Bybee. Like that's the game. This is, I mean, of course, it's elimination, it's the season, but if you were asked to the Guardians, like how would you want to set up this game? It'd be arrested of the key arms with Bybee. I think they win this game. I think it's another low-scoring game. I just don't think the Tigers are going to score.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like a 1-0, 2-0 Guardians win and then go back to 5. And then I think the Tigers take care of business behind Skubal.
I think they are set up with their A team here when you can go Bybee to Cade Smith. And we just saw Cade Smith look fine with 2 up downs as well. He could be totally good to go for like 7 outs.
He's still young, dude. His arm, he's all
but like if you go Bybee for 5 1/3 or like even 6, I would love to get 6 out of Bybee. They're gonna go short leash with him. He went 4 2/3.
Dominates.
I think so too. So and obviously he dominated in game 1. So you go Bybee, let's call it Bybee for 5. I think Smith can give you 2, and then you can go Gaddis and Clase and call it
and
a
Herron.
day.
You can go Herron too.
You can go Herron if you want. Walters looked great. Sabrowski looked great. I mean, like there was no, it was no indictment. Like 2 of the 3 came against Alex Cobb in 3 innings. Like that Guardians bullpen's amazing, but the Tigers have just been better. So I think I'm with you. I think I go Guardians in a tight one, like 2-0.
Yeah.
And then game 5, and it's Skubal, and Skubal proves that he like. Fuck you and your Paul Skeens idea. Like, remind me who you are.
I think it's Bybee dominates game 4 and wins. And then I think Skubal dominates game 5, and that's when the Tigers win the series.
Yeah, I also like the day off for the Tigers bullpen after game 4. Like, back-to-back chaos is very hard.
Exactly. And then so they'll have Skubal rested bullpen, and I think that's just going to be too much because I don't see anybody scoring on Skubal like ever.
Yeah.
So that'll do it, right?
Yeah, I'm not wearing merch.
Of course not. Don't be like Jack. Go get your Just Baseball merch. It's the best way to support this show. But if you don't want to spend a dime right now, we totally understand. If you could rate and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, 5 stars, the best way to support this show, as well as hitting that like button and subscribing on YouTube for all of our videos. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. Got more baseball tomorrow. We're just going to keep you locked in and loaded here on the Just Baseball Show. For Jacob Willen, I'm Peter Apple. We'll see you tomorrow. With that, thank you, everybody.